You are about to save thousands of dollars and months of headaches, but only if you do this right. Hiring the wrong contractors for your site work and utility hookups on a modular home build is one of the fastest ways to blow your budget and stall your entire project before the home even arrives. So today I am walking you through a complete 10-step guide to doing this the smart way. Stick with me because step 7 is where most people completely fall apart and it costs them big. All right, so let's get going. Step 1 is to start with your site evaluation before you ever talk to a single contractor. Get a soil test done, understand your topography, and know your setback requirements. Contractors will lowball you on estimates when they have not seen the land, and then they'll hit you up with change orders that cost more money later. Walk the property with a civil engineer, or at a minimum, get a survey done first. This gives you real data to bring to the table when you start getting quotes. All right, step 2 is to understand exactly what site work your project requires. Now, modular home builds, they need a foundation, they need grading done, they need a driveway approach, and potentially clearing and excavation. Make a comprehensive list before you make any calls. Site work is not one job, it is several, and different contractors specialize in different parts. Knowing your scope up front keeps you in control of the conversation. Step 3 is to separate your contractor categories. Do not assume one company does everything. You will likely need a separate excavator for site preparation and final grading, a foundation contractor, a plumber, an electrician for the meter box installation and electrical crossover connections, an HVAC installer for your natural gas or propane if in the country hookups, a septic installer if you're not on city sewer, a well driller if you're not on municipal water. Each of these trades require their own licensing and often their own permits. When they try to bundle everything with one contractor, that is a red flag. Step 4 is to verify licensing and insurance before anything else. Every contractor touching your site needs to carry a general liability insurance policy and workers' compensation. Ask for certificates of insurance directly and call the insurance company that they verify that the policies are in place. Check with your local licensing board and contractor licensing status. This is non negotiable because if someone gets hurt on your property and they are uninsured, you are holding the bag. Step 5 to get a minimum of 3 bids for each trade category. And when you request bids, get every contractor the exact same written scope of work. This is the only way to compare bids apples to apples. If one bid comes in dramatically lower than the others, ask detailed questions. Sometimes low bids means corners are being cut, inferior materials, or a contractor who simply underbid to win the job and will make it up in change order costs later. Step 6 is to check references and to look at completed work. Ask each contractor for at least 3 references from projects completed in the last 2 years. Call those references and ask specifically about how they handled their problems, just whether or not the work got done. Problems always come up on construction projects. The question is how a contractor responds when things go sideways. If possible, drive by those completed projects and look at them for quality yourself. Step 7, this is where most people drop the ball, and that is creating proper contracts for each contractor. A handshake deal or a one-page invoice is not a contract. Your written agreement needs to include a detailed scope of work, a payment schedule tied to milestones, not dates, a timeline with start and completion expectations, a change order clause requiring written approval before any work is performed, and a lien waiver requirement upon payment. If a contractor refuses to sign a proper contract, walk away immediately. All right, step 8 is to understand your permitting responsibilities. In most jurisdictions, the property owner is ultimately responsible for ensuring permits are pulled and inspections are passed. Some contractors pull their own permits, others expect you to handle it. Get clarity on this in writing before your work begins. Never let work begin without the required permits in place. If an inspector finds unpermitted work, you could be required to tear it out and redo it entirely. Step 9, this is to manage your sequencing carefully because the order in which contractors work matters enormously. Excavation and grading typically happen first. The foundation comes next and must be inspected and approved before your modular home is delivered. Utility hookups like water, sewer, and electric service happen after the home is set. If you get this sequence wrong, you will end up with contractors waiting on each other and your schedule falls apart. Step 10. This is to keep your communication log throughout the entire process. Every conversation with a contractor, every decision made, every change requested needs to be documented in writing. Send a follow up email after every phone call summarizing what was discussed. This protects you legally and keeps everyone accountable. When a dispute arises, at some point, one probably will, your documentation is what determines the outcome. Now, here's the thing most people never consider when they're managing multiple contractors on a modular build. Your home manufacturer has a delivery timeline and it will not shift because your site is not ready. If your foundation is not done and inspected when the house shows up on a truck, you are paying for redelivery and storage fees, and that can run into the thousands of dollars per week. Site readiness is not just important, it is critical to your entire financial plan. The good news is that if you follow these 10 steps with discipline, you will have a site that is properly prepared, contractors who are legally protected, utilities that are ready to connect, and a foundation waiting exactly when your home arrives. This is how a modular build goes smoothly instead of becoming a nightmare. If you're planning a modular build and want more content on navigating the contractor process, managing your budget, or choosing the right foundation type for your lot, follow the link in the description and I will show you our modular home build from raw land to completed home.